If you eat at some of the most popular restaurant chains in the United Kingdom, you probably walk in with a certain level of trust. You see a familiar high street logo, a polished menu, a bright digital screen promising freshly prepared, and you assume that strict food safety laws, regular inspections, and corporate oversight mean your meal is safe. You assume that scale equals control, that brand recognition equals accountability. But what if the reality behind some of those kitchens is far more complicated? We examined court records, Food Standards Agency findings, supplier investigations, undercover footage, and employee testimonies linked to major chains operating across the UK. What emerges is not a single scandal or one bad apple. It's a pattern of cost pressures, supply chain fragility, inconsistent oversight, and systems that sometimes stretch dangerously close to breaking point. Let's start with Wetherspoon, one of Britain's largest pub operators. Walk into almost any branch and you'll see laminated menus offering curries, steaks, pasta dishes, breakfast, desserts, all at prices that feel almost frozen in time. In an era of rising food costs, it seems unbelievable. So how does a chain serve hundreds of thousands of meals every week at those prices? Former employees have described a kitchen model built heavily around centralized production and reheating. Many meals arrive pre-cooked and frozen. Curries are reheated in boiling water or microwaves. Rice is microwaved. Pasta dishes are microwaved. Poached eggs reportedly arrive pre-poached in sealed bags and are reheated. Bacon is often pre-cooked and finished on a grill, mainly for appearance. Staff have even joked about the microwave being called Chef Mike, because in some branches it does much of the work. Now here's the key point. Reheating food is not automatically unsafe. Centralized production is common in large-scale catering. The risk begins when massive volume collides with supply chain failure. In 2018, meat supplier Russell Hume, which supplied steak to Wetherspoon branches nationwide, was investigated by the Food Standards Agency. Inspectors found widespread relabeling of use-by dates across multiple production facilities. The failures were described as systemic. The company collapsed almost overnight. Hundreds of jobs were lost. Wetherspoon withdrew steaks from menus nationwide. At the time, the chain was serving roughly 200,000 steaks per week. When one supplier sits at the centre of that kind of scale, any misconduct multiplies across the entire country. Individual branch controversies added to the concern. At a pub in Chepstow, former employees posted footage online allegedly showing mouldy food and dirty equipment, despite the branch holding a 5-star hygiene rating. In another case, a Wetherspoon location in Barrow-in-Furness temporarily closed after reports of illness and a sickness outbreak. These incidents raise a bigger question. A 5-star rating reflects conditions at the time of inspection. It is not a permanent guarantee of day-to-day compliance. Now let's move to Nando's, a brand built on flame-grilled chicken and ethical sourcing claims. In 2018, a supplier scandal shook the industry. At Harvey and Brockles, an employee deliberately contaminated food products, inserting foreign objects into hummus and dressings. Fish sauce was mixed into products not labelled to contain fish, posing serious allergy risks. The sabotage was detected before widespread distribution, and the perpetrator was jailed. But the incident exposed how vulnerable centralised food production facilities can be. Separate undercover investigations into poultry farms linked to supply chains raised ethical and welfare concerns. Footage showed overcrowded sheds, birds suffering from lameness due to rapid growth rates, ammonia-heavy litter, and dead birds left among the living. Some of these farms held Red Tractor certification at the time. Nando's said it was disappointed and committed to reviewing standards. but for customers paying premium prices under the impression of higher welfare sourcing. The revelations sparked uncomfortable questions about certification systems and auditing transparency. Then came one of the most dramatic supply chain collapses in UK fast food history. In 2018, KFC UK and Ireland switched logistics contracts to DHL and consolidated distribution into a single depot. Within days, deliveries failed. Stock spoiled. Around 750 of 900 UK stores were forced to close due to chicken shortages. The company's humorous FCK apology campaign went viral, but behind the marketing was a serious lesson. When cost-saving decisions intersect with fragile logistics systems, disruption can spread nationwide almost instantly. Beyond logistics, individual KFC branches have faced hygiene prosecutions involving rodent and cockroach infestations. While these cases involved specific franchisees, not the entire brand, they highlight how decentralized franchise systems can produce uneven standards. Former staff have described intense pressure during peak hours, understaffing, and speed targets that compete with thorough cleaning routines. Now consider Greggs, one of Britain's most beloved bakery brands. In early 2025, the Food Standards Agency issued an urgent allergy alert after a packaging error involving products sold through Iceland. Packaging labelled as steak bake was found to contain sausage, bean, and cheese melt products with undeclared sulfites. For people with asthma or sulfite sensitivity, undeclared allergens can be dangerous. The issue was traced to a packaging mix-up, but it underscored the risks associated with high-volume manufacturing and labelling. Greggs markets products as freshly baked. Technically, items are baked in-store throughout the day. However, they begin as mass-produced frozen products made in regional bakeries. This model is legal and common, but it blurs the line between fresh preparation and reheated industrial production. Then there's Subway. International controversy erupted after journalists in the United States commissioned DNA tests that allegedly failed to detect tuna DNA in certain samples, though other laboratories disputed the findings. In Ireland, the Supreme Court ruled that Subway bread did not qualify as bread for tax purposes due to sugar content. In the UK, individual branches have faced hygiene prosecutions, including rodent infestations, and incorrect display of hygiene ratings. More troubling are online allegations from former employees claiming that some franchise managers instructed staff to relabel expired food instead of discarding it. These remain allegations from individuals rather than proven corporate-wide policy, but they illustrate the pressure points inside franchise systems operating on tight margins. No discussion would be complete without McDonald's UK. The company emphasises supply chain transparency, stating it uses 100% British and Irish beef. Yet individual branches have faced serious hygiene prosecutions involving rodent activity. The scale of the network means oversight must stretch across thousands of employees and hundreds of locations. Perhaps the most tragic case involves Pret A Manger. In 2016, 15-year-old Natasha Ednan Laperouse died after eating a sesame-containing baguette that lacked full ingredient labelling. The tragedy led to legislative reform known as Natasha's Law, requiring full ingredient labelling on pre-packed foods for direct sale. 2 years later, Celia Marsh died after consuming a product marketed as dairy-free that had cross-contamination issues. These were not minor oversights, they were fatal failures in allergen control systems. When you zoom out, the bigger picture becomes clear. Tens of thousands of UK food premises are reportedly overdue for inspections due to local authority resource constraints. Environmental health departments face staffing shortages. Public analyst laboratories have reduced in number. Inspection systems rely on periodic visits, not continuous oversight. Between inspections, much depends on internal management culture and corporate integrity. It is important to be balanced. Not every branch of these chains is unsafe. Many operate to high standards. Many staff work incredibly hard under pressure to maintain compliance. Large chains often have robust written policies, but scale magnifies risk. When millions of meals are served weekly, when supply chains stretch across multiple countries, when products are frozen, reheated, transported, and relabeled, the system depends on every link-holding firm. Cost pressures intensify everything. Consumers expect low prices. Investors expect profit. Logistics contracts are awarded competitively. Staffing hours are optimized. Waste reduction is aggressive. In that environment, small shortcuts can begin to appear. A date label changed, a cleaning cycle rushed, a supplier audit delayed, sometimes intentional, sometimes gradual, sometimes invisible. The lesson here is not panic, it is awareness. A 5-star hygiene rating reflects a snapshot in time. Franchise systems vary by location. Allergen labeling has improved, but it still depends on accurate communication. Ethical sourcing claims require continuous verification. Transparency strengthens when customers demand it. The UK food industry serves millions safely every day, but vigilance cannot relax. Inspection systems require funding. Whistleblowers require protection. Supply chains require auditing. Consumers deserve honest marketing and clear labeling. So the next time you walk into a brightly lit chain restaurant, pause for a moment. Think about the network behind your plate. Ask questions. Stay informed. Because behind every low price and catchy slogan lies a complex system of decisions. And in that system, safety does not come from branding.